Hey everybody, it's Erica, and this is Batty Chatty, where we talk about horror. We are continuing the live feed from yesterday, as I had to cut it short because I had to do a client because I do hair as well as this. But so we're back to finish up. Hey everybody, how's it going? We were talking women in horror yesterday, but we kind of got off on some other subjects, and so I figured we would continue our talk of women in horror and or anything else that has to do with horror. So let's talk some more. How's everybody doing? Hey. See if there's a few people gonna get on here. Hey Russell. Let's see here. Are there any horror movies out or coming out right now that you're really excited to see that has maybe one of your favorite scream queens in it? You guys always seem to, I learn so much every time I look in the group. There's always something else that you guys are like letting me know that's coming out or gonna happen. So let me know. Is there anything like, okay, I really like Mila Jovovich, I believe is her last name. And although I'm not super excited about the new Hellboy, I'm really excited to see her in it. So I'm fairly excited to see the new Hellboy because she's going to be in it. So I'm definitely going to be watching it. I know that's not exactly horror, but I think it has enough horror elements that it works. Besides, it has Mila in it. Just trying to get a few more people here. Hey, how's it going? Hey Robert, hey Suzanne. Hey Jason, Dino. Hey Christian. So I was saying, we were talking about scream queens and women of horror. Hey Jason. But of course, we can talk about anything else. Hey, Nikki. Anything else that you guys want to talk about as well. Because this is the second part of, I had to cut it short yesterday. Are there any women in horror that you haven't seen for a while and you really want to see them? Hey Christian, like you really want to see them in something horror again. Hey Laura, welcome to the group. I hope you enjoy it here. Let's see here. Nev Campbell. I would love to see Nev in some new horror. I was mentioning yesterday that I watched her in Skyscraper, which is definitely not horror. It's action adventure type of movie. But I was really happy to see her in that movie because I hadn't seen her in a while, and she just looked so beautiful. I was just really happy to see her. Oh, you're welcome, Laura. Hey, Lehman. Hey, Angie. Hi, Kyle. How's everybody doing today? Thank goodness it's Friday, right? You want to see more killer animal movies. Antonio, I love killer animal movies. Hey, Mark. One of my all-time favorites is Jaws. And I mean, doesn't get much killer animal than that. I mean, you know, this shark is literally hunting them practically. And I love all kind of killer. I love it when the animal is, you know, I don't like it when I see the animals die, but I do love it when the animals get the people. What were we talking about yesterday? We were talking about women in horror, but I'm opening the topic to anything, really. Anything that has to do with horror, that is. Maybe Jennifer Aniston. I would love to see Jennifer Aniston in another horror movie. I mean, I thought she did pretty well in Leprechaun. I would dig her in something else. Hey George, how's it going? Dino Orca was wonderful. I loved that movie. I saw it obviously when I was really young. Hey Ruth, how's it going? And it made a big impact on me because, I mean, that whale was serious about killing those people. And, you know, I actually was rooting for the whale. Katie Holmes and Linda Blair. I would love to see Katie Holmes in another horror movie. You know, I watched her in something not too long ago. I'm forgetting the title, but it had Charlie Hunnam in it. And it was like, I don't want to give it away too much because, you know, she was looking for her boyfriend. Her boyfriend had disappeared, which was Charlie Hunnam. He was some rich guy. And it was definitely like a thriller mystery. Definitely had some horror stuff to it. What was the name of that movie? It was good. I really liked it. Hi, how was the Farm movie? Is it good to watch I don't think I've seen the Farm movie. Let's see here. Abandoned was the movie I was thinking of with Katie Holmes and Charlie Hunnam. Now, I didn't realize it was from 2002, but I actually kind of liked it. Hey, Courtney. I think we need less remakes and sequels. I would love some more original stuff. I tend to really like remakes, but so much of the time, I wish that they would just come up with, say, something similar and make it an original movie instead, you know, like a similar idea. Hey. Hi, Ruth. Cujo was the ultimate animal get human movie. Love it. You know, Donna, I love Cujo. And actually, when I met Dee Wallace this last year, you know, talking to her and stuff, she said actually Cujo was her very favorite that she's made of, you know, the horror genre. So I thought that was pretty interesting that Cujo was her very favorite. Sarah Michelle Gellar, aka Buffy. You know, I like Buffy in Buffy. I like Sarah in almost all her movies. You know, The Grudge is not one of my favorites, but I thought she did really, really well in that movie. I thought she did really, really good in Buffy, obviously, but also in I Know What You Did Last Summer, and I know she's been in some others. Anyone remember the movie The Other? Not the Nicole Kidman movie, but the one that came out in the 70s, I think creeped me out as a kid. You know what? I need to see that. I don't think I've seen that, Nikki. Jennifer Aniston has been in another horror movie. It ran for 10 years, Friends. That's funny, Steven. You know, I watched Friends a little bit when it was first out, but it wasn't one of the ones that I watched all the time. So I've not really seen a whole lot of those Friends episodes. Oh, hey, Tom. You missed yesterday. Just wanted to brag. You met Nev Campbell and Gina Davis, both so amazing and sweet. Oh, I'm so jealous. I would love to meet both of those women. Gina Davis is such a talented actress, and so is Nev Campbell. But I mean, they're both just amazing actresses, and it's always so wonderful to hear, you know, when a fan has met an actress or, you know, a movie star, and that they're really, really nice. And, you know, I have to agree, you know, so many of the people that I've met have all been so incredibly nice. Dee Wallace was one of them. She's just amazingly nice and so sweet. If I get a chance to meet those two women, I definitely will. Would you like to see some R-rated superhero movies? That could make great horror movies. Yes, Antonio, I would love to see some R-rated. Here's the thing, this is kind of funny. My husband, you know, when we're looking through Netflix or, you know, HBO or whatever, you know, the guides, and, you know, we're picking movies. His criteria of a movie is, well, if it's not over, it has to be at least an hour and a half. And if it's not, he doesn't think it's going to be any good. And if it's and it needs to be an R-rated. If it's not R-rated, he's all, I don't know if it's going to be any good. So, I tend to not be able to watch too many of the, you know, ones that don't hit that criteria unless it's during the day when he's gone. Erica, I saw Us last night, and Lupita is now a scream queen in your books. She is amazing. Better not be snubbed for the Oscars. I hope I said Lupita. I hope I said her name right. I definitely want to see Us. I haven't made a plan to go see it. Like I mentioned before, my best friend had a baby not too long ago, so you know, nobody wants to bring their infant into a movie theater. So and none of the other guests want anyone else to bring an infant into the movie theater. So I lost my movie buddy for a little bit. But I am going to be watching some movies in the theater. I'll probably just go by myself, but I definitely want to see that. Great looking babe. I thought Sandra Bullock did really well in Bird Box. She could have definitely been a good horror queen. Thank you, Ruth. Mwah, love you. You know, I liked Bird Box. I didn't like the explosion that it had in this group, but I did like Bird Box. I am a Sandra Bullock fan. I thought she did really well, and I think she could do really well in horror. I really do. If she has an inkling to go that route, I would really be into it. I would really like it. Abandon was okay for you. You know, I went into it super cold, Nikki, and I didn't know what I was like gonna be watching. So, you know, without giving it away to anybody else that hasn't seen it, you know, when it had those few twists and turns, I really liked it. And I prefer to go into movies like that, you know, where I haven't really watched any trailers and I don't really know what it's going to be about at all. That's how I went into Trick or Treat. Like, I just stumbled onto it, and it ended up being like one of my very favorite Halloween movies ever. So, you know, I prefer to stumble onto movies and just go, oh yeah, it's super cool. Yes, originals. Everything is getting remade, and I'm like, okay, great, but when are we going to have something new? I agree, Nikki. You know, that's great. You want to remake this or that? Wonderful. I'm I may love the original. I may love the remake. But let's have some classics for this generation, not new classics that were old classics. I agree with you. I agree with you. Hey, Mike. I don't know. Frogs scared me more than Cujo because it was nature had turned against humanity. You know, I haven't seen Frogs. Frogs are creepy to me, and so I should check that out. I should check that out. Prophecy was the ultimate in animal horror. I haven't seen Prophecy since I was quite young. I need to revisit that one. It was the one with the bear, right? I've not seen it in quite some time. Watching Empire of the Ants, great classic horror movie. I have not seen that. I need to maybe check that one out too. I love animal horror. I think, and even when it's kind of kooky animal horror, I like it. Even though I'll watch all of the crazy, strange ones that they play on sci-fi. Like I really love Lake Placid. Now its sequels get a little hokey, but I really love the first one. That gigantic crocodile, you know, it was crazy. I really like it. Yes, and the Scooby-Doo movies. I love Scooby-Doo as well. 2 boys, one died, and the one who lives keeps talking and seeing his brother, and his brother is doing horrible things. Oh, nice. Yeah, you know, I have to see that. Yes, George, we know you love Nev. Oh, thank you, Nikki. Thank you. I'm definitely going to check that out. You know, some of 70s horror, like Magic is late 70s horror. I think it was 78, you know, with Anthony Hopkins and The Dummy, which I think that is what instilled my fear of dummies. Because you know, some people are afraid of dolls, some are afraid of clowns, some people aren't afraid of anything, but, you know, some people are afraid of spiders, the dark, whatever. Dummies freak me out. Like, seriously, like, I love Dead Silence because the dummies freak me out. And, you know, I like it when a movie can freak me out. We need some better vampire movies, but that's me. I have a thing for vampire movies. I love vampire movies too. In fact, the last gift search I just did, you know, because I go on searches for pictures and stuff for the group. I did a gift search and I did vampire gifts. So, you know, vampire movie gifts. So I was picking this vampire and that vampire, and, you know, so a bunch of what I'm going to be posting is going to be vampire gifts for probably over the weekend. I consider Courtney Cox a Scream Queen too. Scream franchise and her thriller November. I have not seen November, George, but I consider her a Scream Queen. Absolutely. I mean, she survived all 4 Scream movies. Just barely at some point, but yeah, no, I love Courtney Cox. I think she needs to calm down with the plastic surgery just slightly. She's starting to look good again. I feel so bad because you know, some of these women get a little nip or a little tuck, and that's fine. I don't have a problem with plastic surgery, but then they look kind of funky for a year or two, and then they start looking like themselves again. And she's starting to look like herself again, thank goodness. Lupetta. I don't know who Lupetta is. I met Chris Sarandon. We actually got into a little argument regarding the Fright Night remake. I told him it was a piece of shit. He tried to argue that it was a different time and a different outlook from the director. Still a piece of shit. Yeah, he had a cameo in that Fright Night. And I have kind of an opinion on that Fright Night thing. And I think that they shouldn't have called it Fright Night at all, because it was so much different than the original. that they could have named the vampire something other than Jerry, and they could have named all the characters different names and just not called it Fright Night and named it some other vampire movie. And I think it would have done a lot better, because there's so much love for the original Fright Night that it riding on that name's coattails, I think, did it more harm than good. Because it's not a bad film. If you don't like it, that's fine. I don't think it's a bad film, but when you label it with the Fright Night name, you put certain expectations on it, which maybe it didn't quite meet. I just hated that it started to get a little predictable, but the twists were good. Yeah. I'm a fan of twist movies. There's a lot of people that don't like M. Night's movies, and that's totally fine, because I get why people wouldn't like them, because so many of them are like, oh man, you're kidding me, right? But I kind of like that when a movie does that to me. So I like movies that have a twist. I cannot wait to see Brightburn. Seems like it will be a kid superhero type, the movie that the kid looks like he has some superpowers. I've not seen a trailer for that. I'll have to check that out, Donna. I've not seen it. The trailer. Excuse me, sorry. But yeah, I love superhero movies. I like just about, I'm a fan of most every movie. I'm not super keen on Westerns, and I'm not super keen on super sappy romantic comedies. But other than that, I like almost anything else. So I'm pretty easy to please when it comes to my movies. Your son loves Trick or Treat. I love Sam. But, me being born on Halloween, I have a real thing about Halloween. So, him going around making sure everybody is celebrating properly, following the rules of Halloween, it just tickles me to death. So I love that. Yes, Sandra Bullock also is one of those that can play any kind of role. I agree with you, Tom. I think she can play any kind of role. She's just very, very talented. You can't wait for the Trick or Treat sequel, Dino. I have been waiting forever for that. And, excuse me. They keep saying they're going to do it, but, we keep sitting here waiting for it. And luckily, because it was an anthology, they're probably, they don't have to pick up where the story left off. So the only character that they would have to really have in that movie again would be Sam. And he's kind of a timeless little guy. So, because he isn't played by a specific actress type of person. So yeah, it's kind of timeless to when they can do it, which makes it nice, but I just really want it. Happy Death Day is an original I like. Jason, I agree with you. I saw Happy Death Day on my birthday, which I think made it even better. And I just thought it was fun. Happy Death Day, The Babysitter, Better Watch Out. There's been several ones that were, unique and different that I really liked. All of those are kind of horror comedies, but I tend to like horror comedies. This is the freaking best group ever. Thank you, Tom. Thank you so much. Your Next was a classic for its time. Great movie. I agree with you, Steven. I love Your Next. And what a great twist that was. I didn't even see that coming. And and that girl was just so badass. I loved her just kicking all of their asses and killing them all. That was just awesome. I'm sorry if I ruined anything, but that movie has been out for a while. It had Sam Elliott in it, and it was more than frogs. It was even the bugs that had gone crazy killing people. Ooh, I like Sam Elliott too. Yeah, I'll definitely have to check that out, Nikki. Thank you. Hey, Amber. Any good Bigfoot horror movies? Ooh, that's a tough one. I would love to see some of the big hairy guy. I have watched a couple of Bigfoot movies fairly recently. One was called Big Legend. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, but it wasn't awful. I mean, I watched it. There was another one that was fairly hokey, and it looked like Bigfoot was wearing bark masks and glowing eyes, and I mean, it was fairly hokey. But I mean, I watched that one too. I don't remember the title. They need to make some good Bigfoot movies. You know, the last good Bigfoot movie was not horror. It was, you know, it was when Harry met Sally. When Harry and the Hendersons. I love that movie. I mean, it's from when I was a kid, but it's definitely not horror. And I would love a horror Bigfoot. That would be great. The movie that to this day gives you nightmares is Kingdom of the Spiders. That movie alone gave me arachnophobia. I have not seen Kingdom of the Spiders. Excuse me, I've got quite a tickle in my throat today. I actually love spiders. I don't want them crawling on me, and I don't want to walk into any of their webs, but I think they're beautiful. And I definitely don't want them biting me. I have quite a big scar right here from one biting. It looks kind of like a little maple leaf. I always say, oh, it's my little Canada sign. But yeah, I think they're beautiful creatures, but I don't want to own any. I just like looking at them. Check out The Legend of Bog Creek, great flick. You know, I need to check that one out too. I haven't seen that one. You remember Magic? Magic was crazy. Dead Silence is a great movie. I love that movie. I would love to see Danielle Harris in a new high-profile horror film. Christian, I agree with you. I would love to see her in a high-profile film. Let's see here. The last one you know, and I don't even know when See No Evil Part 2 came out, but I mean, I just watched it a few weeks ago, and she was in it. And I actually liked See No Evil Part 1 better, even though I liked the cast of See No Evil 2 better. I think Part 1 had a better script. But I would love to see her in more high-profile movies. Have you watched Us yet? I have not watched Us yet, Charlie. I know George has, and George says that it's really good. Dead Silence almost sent me screaming out of the theater. Oh, did it? Yeah. That whole Mary Shaw, I just love it. I just love it. And Dummies freak me out, but I thought it was so well done. I mean, I had to buy it. I love that movie. Thanks for a lovely site. It's Ghosts and Spiders for You and Dolls. And if I see them in shops, I think they will move. Love Chainsaw Films. Hey, Ricky, thank you so much. Ghosts and Spiders and Dolls. You know, dolls can be creepy. And, you know, like I said, dummies are my thing that creep me out. But there are some dolls that can do the same thing, because, I mean, dummies are fairly similar to dolls. They're just kind of bigger. marionettes kind of are like they bridge the gap. Those kind of freak me out too. Did I like Dead Awake? I really enjoyed it. Mark, you know, that's one I haven't seen. I need to. There are quite a few rather popular movies that I have not seen, and Dead Awake is one of them. Thank you, George, for agreeing with me. Open water has ruined whatever quest I have ever entertained for scuba diving. I was certified as a scuba diver when I was 16, and I loved it. And I haven't been in many years. I'm 45 now, and you know, I probably haven't been scuba diving since I was 20. But it's amazing. It's amazing. And you know, you don't have to be out in an open water thing to do it. You can go right off the coast and stuff. So I mean, don't let that, if you really want to go scuba diving or you really want to learn it, don't let that movie make you not do it. Just don't go on boats in the middle of the ocean. Night of the Demon is a really great Bigfoot movie, really sick and gory. I need to see that. Thank you, Mike. That's how you pronounce Lupita. Thank you, Nikki. I was hoping I wasn't butchering her name. I've mentioned before, I tend to butcher names from time to time, and I don't mean anything by it. I just do. Satan's Little Helper is another good one that surprised you. I don't think I've seen that one, Jason. Or is that one on Netflix? Hey, Hal. Isn't it about time for another remake sequel to The Blob? Mickey, I would love to see another Blob film. I mean, what, the last one was in 1988? Because you've got the original in 50-something, I think. And then you've got the 88 version, which was the remake, which was an amazing version. It is definitely time for another Blob movie. I agree. Anyone remember Vamp? Yes, I love Vamp. I think that's a really, really fun movie. Erica, are you a fan of Kathy Bates? She is so amazing and did so much good horror stuff. She can play any role. George, I love Kathy Bates. She is one of my very favorite actresses. She can morph into anything. And, you know, she could be the terrifying Annie Wilkes. And the next minute she could be like your mom. And then she could be, you know, this other totally off the wall, something else. I mean, she can just do whatever, and she's wonderful. She can be funny, scary, serious, anything. I love Kathy Bates. I agree with you and writing on it. Did that send before you were done? Oops. You love M. Night's movies. I you know, the people that really hate M. Night's movies really hate them, and it seems like the people that really like them really do, and I really like them. Oh, my little Otis. It's my little Otis Driftwood. He wanted to come say hi. Say hi. It's over here. He's getting big, huh? Have you ever seen the brilliant British TV series Hammer House of Horror? No, I haven't. I have not seen that. The trailer is pretty sweet to Brightburn. I'm gonna have to look that up. Alamo Bay, I thought was going to suck, but I ended up not being able to sleep for a few nights. Alamo Bay, I'm gonna have to write that one down too. Thank you. Do you think that all horror movies should be remakes. No. There are movies. I think there's certain criterias for remakes, and I think they should be at least 30 years old before they get remade, and some don't need a remake. Just some don't need them. Some have completely stood up and are not oh, my little kitty's sniffing the phone. Some just don't need them. Some just don't need them. So no, I don't think all of them should be remade. What about Alice Kills or Alice? That was a good underrated cult one. Great story, great comedy, dark, funny ending. You know, let me look that up. I don't know if I've seen that, Paul. Oops. Still getting used. I got a new computer and I'm still getting used to it. Alice. Oops. Alice Kills. Alice Kills. I have not seen Alice Kills. I'll have to check that out. Thank you. Kittens, what do you do? Get out of here, Otis. Anyway, yeah, no, I'll have to check it. I'll have to check it out. Thank you, Paul. Your son likes Happy Death Day. Happy Death Day, I was really surprised that my husband liked it. He was like, he's all that. Because my husband is not a big horror fan. But he was like, he's like, that was pretty good movie. Like, after we finished it, he was just like, that was pretty good. So, if he likes it, it has to be fairly decent. What would you like to see a sequel to? Halloween 3 Season of the Witch? And are you a fan of part 3? Charlie, that's a trick question. I actually am a fan now. It took me so many years to get there. Originally when Season of the Witch came out, I was a young kid, and I'm looking for Michael Myers in it, and there's no Michael Myers. So I'm like, well, so it didn't make sense to me. Then I realized, okay, this is like not connected to the first 2 movies, Then it made me mad because I love Michael Myers. Michael Myers is my favorite horror icon. And I think he always has been. And since then, I can totally appreciate that movie as a standalone movie. And so I do like it. I mean, when you look at it like that, the storyline's great. It has not aged. It's not aged that well, but it's a good movie. And, I kind of liked how they left it off. Like, you didn't really know if they turned those other channels off or not. So, they turned some of the channels off, but did they get that other commercial off those other channels? Or, or were all those kids were all those kids killed? So, I kind of like that it left kind of a questionable ending like that, but, a sequel would be fun to watch. I would watch it. Parents was a funny and dark, gory one. Parents, that one was quite dark and funny. I like that one. I watched that one on Tubi a couple months ago. 3 from Hell came out on it comes out on Halloween this year. That will be my birthday movie then. That movie is Dane, that's the movie that I am absolutely, that's the one that I cannot wait to see. I mean, I have been wanting that movie to be made for years, and you know, I'm over the moon that they actually did it. Did they even do a sequel to Your Next? I didn't see that twist either. You know, they didn't do a sequel to Your Next, and so you don't know if she lived or not, you know, because she got shot, and you don't know. I mean, he was walking into that trap on that door, so I mean, you don't know if he got it or not. So I mean, did everybody die or did they not? You don't know. Yeah. So that was kind of left up in the, I mean, it didn't seem like her wound was going to be a mortal wound, but it looked like he was going to walk into one. We talk a lot about Scream Queen, but I would love to see a new horror host type character like Elvira. I agree with you, Christian. I would love to see that. That was some of my fondest childhood memories are, you know, oh, when is Elvira going to be on? You know, and she was hosting a movie. I would love that. You know, Elvira is getting up. I mean, she looks wonderful still, but she is getting on in her years. We do need a new, we need a new Elvira, I guess. I mean, you know, whatever her name, Vampira, or, you know, all the different names of all the different, you know, horror hostesses. I would love to see a new one. That would be great. Sam is a god in everything. You're talking about Sam Elliott, right? I'm assuming how. I do love Sam. The Wendigo wasn't bad. I didn't mind the Wendigo. I didn't mind the Wendigo. You love Harry, Nikki. I love Harry too. How have I not seen that? I don't remember which thing there's a lag, and plus I'm talking, so I'm kind of lagging on what I'm returning, you know, what I'm reading off. Yeah, no spiders. Back to psychological thrillers. Bugs with Ashley Judd was a trip and a half. Bug was awful. I mean, like, it was off, like, it made my skin crawl. It was good. It was a good movie, but it was awful. Like, watching it, it was like, ooh, super crazy. Ooh, my kitten is getting into something. No, get away from that. I'll show you. My kitten was trying to get this off of the wall. You know, it's like one of those ice things. Yeah. Can't have the kitten playing with the hooks. Anyway. Hi from London, Erica. Hey, Stuart. Hello from California. What's my favorite horror film ever? Ooh. Tough. You know, that's always a tough question for me. I have to go with Halloween, the 78, but I also love The Thing from 1982 and Jaws, the original. Those are like my top three. I don't know that I can narrow it down any further than that. But those are my top three. I do also love The Devil's Rejects, like love it, love it, love it, and Trick or Treat, and American Werewolf in London, Underworld, and now the list is just going to go on and on and on, like Nightbreed and A Nightmare on Elm Street, 84, just, I mean, yeah, it's very, very hard for me to narrow it down. Yeah, those old ventriloquist dummies creep you out. They creep me out too. Motel Hell is the reason that I won't eat Slim Jims. The reason I won't eat Slim Jims, and Motel Hell is not a bad reason, is because when you squeeze them, it like weird fat stuff comes out, and that really grosses me out. I do love beef jerky though, but I won't eat Slim Jims. You talk about twists. Well, have you ever seen The Shrine? That was an unexpected good in that way. The Shrine, that sounds familiar, Paul. That sounds familiar. Let me see. The Shrine. The Shrine movie. Ooh, The Shrine from 2010. Search for a missing teen in Poland leads a rookie reporter and her companions to an encounter with deadly cultists. You know, I need to see that. I don't think I've seen that. That definitely is going on the list. Thank you. Your favorite Bigfoot flick was Abominable. Though the Bigfoot was a bit disappointing as its face looked a little too wooden. I think I've seen that. I think I liked it. Are you a fan of the remake of Evil Dead? You loved it. Yes, Charlie. I love the remake of Evil Dead. Jane Levy is an amazing actress. She can just do anything, I think. And I really enjoyed that movie a lot. A whole lot. That whole fear of not knowing what's underneath you is what scared me. The whole scene where she looks under the water and there's all these sharks and the movie ends. Oh my God. Yeah. There is a real fear of like dark water and that kind of thing. And the ocean is no joke and it should be feared. So yeah, there's that. Yeah, I always had good experiences with scuba diving, but, and we didn't see any great whites, even though they are here in our waters. I live in Huntington Beach and we see lots of great whites every year are spotted right off our coast. And, you don't find me in the water very often here. You don't find me in the water very often here. I don't go for swims, but you know, the water's cold. If I were, say somewhere that the water was a little warmer, I would maybe go for swims more. Satan Claus be a good remake. I don't think I've seen that one. Sounds really interesting. You love Vamp too. Vamp is overlooked. As long as we're talking about the same one, are we talking about the Grace Jones one, or are we talking about the Sigourney Weaver, Kristen Ritter and Alicia Silverstone one? They're both great movies, but I was thinking the Sigourney one. Kathy Bates in The Waterboy. Mike, I loved Kathy Bates in The Waterboy. I thought she did an awesome job in that. I thought, and Fairuza Balk being the girl that she was saying was the devil. I love that movie. I think that's a great movie. Oh my God, Deadly Friend. We so could use a reboot of that, especially with technology we have now. That's probably the movie that you were saying that I haven't seen. Yes. I mean, I've seen clips of it, and most of these movies that I say, oh, I haven't seen it. It's not that I haven't seen any of it. I may have seen some of it, but if I haven't seen the movie from beginning to end all at once, I usually say I haven't seen it, because you don't get the entire experience of a movie if you've only seen a few minutes here, a few minutes there. Even though you kind of may know what it is about. I think they need to do a great Vampirella movie, not like the one they did with the guy from The Who. I would love to see a Vampirella movie. I second that, Hal. Sherry Moon Zombie to you is great. She should do more movies, but not directed by her husband. A career separate from him. I agree with you, George. I know there's a lot of hate for her because, you know, she tends to only work in her husband's movies, and you know, she's kind of been pigeonholed as this one type of character. But you know, if that's kind of the character that he keeps writing, then, you know, she doesn't have much choice but to play her. But I would love to see her in somebody else's movies too. I think that would be really great, because I think she's great. I can't wait to see her in 3 from Hell. Thank you very much. You're welcome, Hal. Alamo Bay is about a community that is attacked by some biological parasite. It's a cam movie, which I don't usually like, but this one was like, wow, don't eat before you watch it. Thank you for warning me that it's a cam movie, because I don't always like those either. Found footage, I sometimes have an aversion to some of those movies. Some are great. Some are great, and I know some people, that's their go-to, and I think that's great. But you know, some of them, when there's so many shaky scenes and there's so much kind of what you're trying to see is just out of the camera's like lens, it really bothers me. So I will check that out. That sounds good. Hey Ralph, what's going on? Totally agree. Like Suspiria. I haven't seen the Suspiria remake. I would really like to see it. I know that tons of people love Suspiria, and I've mentioned this before, but I'm not a big fan of that movie, the original. And I think a lot of it has to do with that I didn't see it until like last year. So there was no nostalgia, and, you know, seeing it through eyes that are expecting more, and hearing so many people rave about something, that sometimes will take the wind out of the sails for me, for a movie. You know, if people are like, oh my God, it's so great, it's so beautiful, it's so this, it's so that, and then I watch it and I'm like, when is this really great stuff gonna happen? And, you know, I keep wanting to see what they were talking about, and it doesn't resonate with me. So I really want to see the remake. I heard it was really good. Down a Dark Hall was a little disappointing. I think I've seen that. Down a Dark Hall. I'm pretty sure I've seen that. Let me make sure it's the one I'm thinking of. Down a Dark Hall movie. Yes, I was expecting more from that, especially with Uma Thurman in it. It had a really good premise. Like, the plot was good and the story was good, but the execution kind of lacked for me, and that was disappointing. I agree, but I also I was expecting more because of the cast, and it wasn't terrible. I've seen it more than once. I've watched it twice, but I was expecting a little more. Potential Scream Queen in the future, if she continues the way, is Chloe Grace Moretz. I agree, George. you know, Chloe's very first movie was horror. It was, I believe it was Amityville Horror. You know, she was introduced into horror. She's been in some horror comedies. She, you know, Let Me In, Carrie. She was in Dark Shadows, which was more of a horror comedy, not quite horror. You know, she's been in some, like, kind of thriller crime kind of things. I think she has a great career coming up. I enjoy her acting. Alien 1 was a horror film. I loved Alien. I love the whole series. I especially love the first and second, actually the second even more, Aliens. But you know, I am one of those that really liked Alien Covenant, and I really liked AVP. The third and fourth Alien were good, but they weren't the movies I were wanting them to be. Prometheus, I need to watch Prometheus again. It was confusing to me, and I think I was on Facebook during part of it, which did not help. I need to just sit down and just really focus on it. So I'm looking forward to whatever they bring on next. I love that franchise. Halloween is starting to get overdone, but I did like the last one. I didn't like Season of the Witch. You know, I'm pretty sure they are doing another Halloween. But I agree, they probably need to wrap it up. You know, there's only so much a 70-year-old guy can do running around in a mask, you know what I mean? So, you know, they need to probably wrap it up. As much as I hate to even say that. Because some things I want infinite amounts of it just because I love it. But it's better to have quality than quantity. And Season of the Witch, it took me a really long time before I could appreciate what it was. A remake of Halloween 3 would be good. I would really love a remake of the third Halloween. Because I don't think it aged very well, I think it would be really great to do that same storyline, but with better technology and better, you know, better. I don't want to say necessarily CGI, because I really prefer movies that have practical effects. If you have mostly practical with a little bit of CGI enhancement, I'm totally in my happy spot. You know, but some of the best effects I still stand by are from The Thing and American Werewolf in London, and those are all practical effects. There's no CGI whatsoever in those, because it didn't exist. When I think about movies with twists, The Uninvited, such a great movie. Yes, I liked that movie too. I really did. You know, another movie with a twist, it isn't exactly horror, but it does have a supernatural flair to it, is called Red Lights, and it has Sigourney Weaver and Cillian Murphy, I think is how you say his first name. I'm not Cillian. I think it's Cillian. Starts with a C. Anyway, I love that movie, and it has some twists, and it has Robert De Niro in it too. What makes Michael Myers so boss is that he kills indiscriminately. He has no method. Only that if you are in his way, he will kill you. He doesn't need to ever speak. He starts out as this little kid, and you don't suspect to think about evil and dark things, and here's where it starts. I thought Zombie did a good job with it, but he humanized Myers too much for you. Almost felt sorry for him. I don't want to feel sorry for him. I like Malcolm McDowell, sorry, taking the role as the doctor. I agree with you. This is Nikki, right? I didn't want to mistake and say somebody else's name. I agree with you. What makes him so scary is just the question, like, why? You know, which is what I liked about the new 2018 Halloween is Michael seems scary again. You know, in some of the other sequels, he kind of lost that scare. Like, Resurrection was totally, he lost it. I mean, I that wasn't scary at all. It was laughable. But I think Rob Zombie did a wonderful version. And though he did humanize him, it just was another take. I prefer the 78, where it's just more like he's just evil. And it seemed like he came from just any regular middle class home in a suburb, instead of this, oh, well, I can understand why, because you've got this horrible stepdad and mom that's a stripper, and, you know, all of these factors that would maybe cue in, and, you know, older siblings and things that maybe don't treat you very well, or whatever, all these other factors. I did like it, but I prefer the crazy, like, how come he snapped? How come he's just evil? I prefer he's just evil. John didn't want to carry on with the franchise. He wanted a trilogy of movies, and the only way he could get funding was if he did Halloween 2. So he did Halloween 3, put Michael on TV, slot Annie as the wife, and Jamie Lee as the curfew announcer. Yeah, I know he wanted to do a different movie for like surrounding Halloween. I mean, I understand what his vision was, but that you know, he was kind of on a street. He was, you know, Halloween 1 was an independent movie, and it was on a shoestring budget, and you know, he had to do what he had to do to get money, and it's just once people are expecting something, if they don't get it, they're gonna not like it, and that's just kind of what happened there. Do you think that some ought to be left alone? I do. I agree. How some need to just be left alone. Like The Shining needs to be just left alone. Now, I understand that they're going to do the sequel to The Shining now, and that's in no way a remake. It's a sequel. So I'm super excited about that. You know, it's the continuation of Danny's story. I'm super excited about that. And I heard Ewan McGregor I heard he was on board for that. I don't know if he's still on board for that or not, but I'm super excited about that. Elvira and Captain USA's groovy movies, and Sammy Terry. I would love, you know, we go through phases, you know, different generations go through phases. There was the variety shows, and then there was, you know, hosts that, you know, like the Elviras and all that kind of thing. I would love it if they came back with something like that. But, you know, the way people watch TV now is so different than the way they used to, because so much of things are all about streaming and binging and what have you. It's hard. It would be hard to do a host type show, but I think it could work in a way, you know. I mean, you could set up a whole bunch of them and release them on Netflix or whatever, and you'd still have that type of show. Elvira's little sister. Yeah, Elvira's little sister. That would be awesome. Kingdom of the Spiders. Yeah, no, I need to see that. Have I seen the underrated Wes Craven gem Red Eye, Rachel McAdams? It's great. I don't think I have. I definitely need to. I really like Rachel McAdams. I think she's great. I thought she was really great in True Detective. I'm a big True Detective fan. You know, I like all these kind of crime, serial killer kind of shows and stuff. And I thought she did really great in that second season. Of course, the first season is my very favorite, and the third season was my third favorite. But I really liked that. What did I think of Human Centipede? You know, John, it's one I've stayed away from. I just haven't gone there. I just haven't gone there. And I'm not afraid. I just don't know that I want to cross that. Because once you see something, you can't unsee it. Which is weird because I did watch a Serbian film. And now I watched that on YouTube, and I fast forwarded. There was no English subtitles, so I didn't understand what they were saying. But I mean, you got the point, and I saw what I needed to see, and I will never revisit that movie. But yeah, I've heard so much about Human Centipede that it has kept me away. It's kept me away. Erica, I know what you did last post. Laugh my ass off. #hook. Oh yeah, exactly, right. I should it'll be Cat in the Hook. I should make a post with that hook. That would be great. Have I seen Bubba Hotep? Yes, I have, Charlie. That's a fun one. Alien 4. Alien 4 is Alien 4 is not bad. I mean, like I said, I love the entire franchise. 3 and 4 are my least favorite. No, I take that back. Alien versus Predator Requiem is my least favorite. But then 3 and 4. But I don't mind it. I mean, I'll watch 3 and if they're on, I'll watch them. I love Devil's Rejects too. It's a happy place movie for me. Nikki and House of Thousand Corpses is amazing. I do love Rejects more, but I love them both. And this is funny to say. My husband is not into horror movies, but 2 of the DVDs that he did own when we got together were House of Thousand Corpses and The Devil's Rejects. So, he couldn't be all bad. Let's see here. I always heard Red Click Click Boom was a good one to watch. Can anyone confirm? I'm not sure. I haven't seen that, Paul. Talking about open water movie, we were. Or was it Landmine Goes Click? Oops. Think it was. Oh, I think Landmine Go. I think Click Click Boom. I think that's a song. Landmine Goes Click would be scary. My fear in like the Descent when you are trapped in between the rocks. Yeah, that would be scary. Absolutely. I don't think, because that's all about like claustrophobia and all of that kind of thing. Like, you don't want to be one, you're enclosed. Two, you're in these hard, like, you know, you're in this hard surface. I mean, all these are rocks. Yeah, no, that would be super scary. Yes, Grace Jones. Yes, Vamp with Grace Jones is great. I love that one. And it's not talked about near enough. I do love the horror comedy also called Vamps. Suspiria was just okay for you. I thought Dakota Johnson did it great, and so did Tilda Swinton. Tilda Swinton is one of my favorite actresses. I think she is so versatile and can do just about any role. And, you know, I mean, she can be so beautiful, and then they can dress her down and make her look so plain, or she has a very androgynous look. I mean, it's just, she has a very unique look. I think she's very beautiful. But she has so much talent too. I really enjoy most any of her movies. How did you miss all this? I don't know, Brian. How did you miss all this? Hi, Miss Erica. Just wanted to praise your wonderful way to speak about horror. You sound so great in talking. It's a real joy to hear you talk. Oh, thank you so much. And I do not want to mispronounce your name. Shahid? Shahid? I don't know. I'm so sorry if I mispronounced your name. Anyway, thank you so much. Thank you. Alien 2 was the best, and Covenant was a close second for you. I agree, Nikki. I watch Covenant all the time. I think that's a great movie. I love it. And I loved AVP. You've seen Prometheus twice, and you're still confused. I watched Prometheus once all the way through, and I've seen bits and pieces of it other times, and I was just like, I'm not ready for this, and so I turn it to something else. Like, I'm like, oh, I'm not just going to let this play in the background. I want to actually watch it. So, you know, I'll turn it to something else that I've seen. What would you like to see for the next Michael Myers in the next movie after the event in Halloween 2018, in your opinion? Was Michael supernatural? He took a lot of abuse in the new one just to be mortal. Charlie, I think that I think he could be slightly supernatural. He did take a hell of a lot of abuse, and, you know, I mean, what is his birthday supposed to be? I mean, he's supposed to be well into his 60s, isn't he? So yeah, he did take an awful lot of abuse, and, you know, he's not going to any hospitals. He's not getting patched up anywhere. He doesn't have any medical training. I mean, other than watching what the nurses do in the mental institution his entire life, because he's been there since what? He was 8? Or 6? I mean, how old was he when he went in? I forget. But so, I mean, yeah, there's all of that going on. I try not to project like how I want it to be, because if I get some sort of like picture in my mind of how it's supposed to be, and then they do something else, then I'll be disappointed, and I hate being disappointed. You feel the same way about CGI? I mean, CGI in its place can be great if it's used sparingly, and don't just slap on some kind of just hokey CGI. I mean, do it well. If you're going to do it well, but it should be practical effects slightly enhanced here and there. But, you know, try to do it practical. I mean, a man in a suit is so much better You know, I mean, that's why I like the Underworld series. Like in the beginning, especially, you know, it was all men in suits, slightly CGI enhanced here and there, and I just thought that that was just really great. I don't know why Halloween H2O gets so much hate. It had the perfect ending and was so good. I agree, George. Halloween H2O is one of my favorite Halloweens. I absolutely love H2O. And I don't really bother too much with the whole, well, she had a daughter here and she has a son over here. You know, where'd the daughter go? How come she didn't have that son before? I just kind of let him go with whatever storyline, backstory that they want to go per movie. And I try to take most of the movies by themselves, because the Halloween franchise is pretty jumbled up as far as like backstories conflicting with other backstories. And, you know, even though it's one of my favorite franchises, it's totally fucked up when it comes to like trying to have a seamless story. It doesn't have one. Do I think that they should be made for TV? What are we talking about? How do I think what should be made for TV? The variety shows, or I mean the host shows? You are spot on about Michael Myers. Thank you, Nikki. Hey, Chrissy, how's it going? Do I think that they should make all the horror shows, TV stuff? I would be down for that. I would be down for that. You know, like I said, the way people watch TV these days is so much different than the way they used to, especially the younger generation. You know, watch almost everything on streaming sites and things. They just don't, you know, people are gonna, I mean, every time I turn on my television, I still have DirecTV, but every time I turn on my television, all they're talking about is, you know, people are getting rid of cable. I mean, it's soon gonna go that route. You know, you're just gonna subscribe to the different channels you want and stream whatever you want instead of having like a cable service. So, you know, we're kind of in a transition area, so it's hard to know what would resonate with fans. And are you trying to cater to the older horror fans that still have TV, or are you trying to cater to some newer ones, so, you know, that are doing the streaming sites? So it's hard to know where to go with that. Me personally, I don't feel like anything should be rebooted. Yeah, you know, some things shouldn't be. I agree, Chrissy, but I tend to really like a lot of my cat brought me a little toy. Come here, Otis. I tend to like a lot of reboots, and you know, like I said, some of these, like they're talking about rebooting Resident Evil. I absolutely don't think that even needs to be touched. It's like, why? I mean, it isn't even that old. You know, if it were totally outdated or whatever, okay, maybe I could understand, but it's just not to me, so I just don't understand. So yeah, there's some things that just don't need to be remade. You're excited about the sequel to The Shining? I'm super excited about that. Yeah, no, and you're absolutely. I love hearing everybody's opinion. You know, we aren't always people aren't always going to agree, and that's kind of what makes the world go round. You know, some people like this and some people don't like that, and there's something for everyone. So it's all good. No worries. What do you want? I think this is my under the cover cat. If there's a bump in the blankets, it's most likely this little guy. He likes to burrow under the blankets and stick his tail in my face. Anyway, yeah, he's funny little cat. Do I think Texas Chainsaw Massacre and The Devil's Rejects are one and the same? I love them both and don't think they are similar. Dane, I think I know what you're talking about. I don't think that The Devil's Rejects is Texas Chainsaw at all, even though it's supposed to be in Texas and the family basically, you know, murder and chop people up and stuff. They aren't really like cannibals, and but they are kind of a crazy, twisted family. So I mean, it's Texas Chainsaw-esque, but I don't think it. I don't think it's Texas Chainsaw. So so yes and no, if that makes any sense at all. Yes and no. It's definitely not, I mean, there's no Leatherface. There's Tiny, but he's definitely not the Leatherface character. So, so I would have to say no. I would have to say no. I do love it though. And, you know, which is why I named my two little kittens, Otis and Sid after Sid Haig, because Captain Spaulding was too much of a mouthful, and Otis after Otis Driftwood. I'm out of here, guys. It's after 11 here in Scotland, and I need sleep. Take care, horror fans. Love, peace, and scares all around. See you, Mike. Thank you for coming in. Have a wonderful sleep. A surprising movie with the Soska sisters is... Regorted Sacrifice. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. That is the second movie of the trilogy of the Vomit Gore series. I've not seen that, Brian. I am interested in seeing that though. I would like to see that. Thank you. People thought I was weird. People always think I'm weird, so you're in good company there. Don't worry about it. When people say I'm weird, I always take it as a compliment. Who wants to be normal? I certainly don't. Normal's boring. What do I think of horror musicals like Repo the Genetic Opera? I just watched Repo the Genetic Opera not too long ago, and I liked it. I was surprised. I was very surprised by Paris Hilton's role. I thought she did really, really well in that role. But I liked it. I was surprised. There was a few times that the operatic singing kind of got to me, you know, where they were just a little over the top with that. But all in all, I did enjoy it. As long as they don't kill Laurie Strode, but how much more strength does she have? Eventually he will get her, no? What do you think, Erica? I think it's a good possibility, George. I mean, you know, they could surprise us all and kill her off. You know, here's the thing. Are they going to do a Hollywood ending, or are they going to do a horror ending? And that's where it is. Are they going to do a Hollywood ending where Laurie gets the guy, you know, Laurie foils the villain's plan and everybody's all happy, you know, a couple people are dead, but it's okay because the bad guy's dead? Or are they going to make it a horror ending where it's like everybody's dead and maybe the killer's still alive? I mean, as much as I love Jamie Lee Curtis, I would love an ending like that. I just would. And I would like it. I would think it would be great if they ended it like that and then just left it like that and just left it like, is he still alive? Is he not alive? And then just leave the series alone. I think that would be like a perfect ending to it. But like I said, I don't want to expect anything, and I don't want to project anything, because if I get it in my head that it should be a certain way and then it's not, it does disappoint me. I heard they're making a Michael Myers and Jason movie, but then got Freddy. It's really hard with the studios, because, they're from different studios and things, so they have to like agree on different things. I'm sure there's tons and tons of red tape about all of that stuff. The nice thing about movies with people that have masks on, like Michael Myers or Jason, is, doesn't matter how old the movie gets, you can replace the person acting in that role and still get away with it. Unlike Freddy, Jackie Earle, I think he did his best. I think he did his best, but, in no way was he Robert Englund. And, the true hardcore fans just went like this. They were just like, this was not our Nightmare franchise. So, I think it would be cool. But I've always said I would like us to see a team up movie instead of a versus. I'd like to see a team up movie. Like I would absolutely love a Michael Myers and Sam, like little Sam back there, to team up on Halloween night and, enforce the Halloween rules. I would think that would be so wonderful. But, that's, my dream kind of movies. Do I think the Green Inferno was real? Bell Rooney. I liked the Green Inferno. I don't understand was real Bell Rooney. I don't understand what that means, but I liked the Green Inferno for what it was. Clive Barker's Lord of Illusions left me a little disappointed, and I love Clive's work. There's always those directors that you love, and then they make something and you're like, what were they thinking? I agree. There's certain ones that it's just like, huh? And I could see where that one did that. Do you watch David McRae on YouTube? If not, look him up. He's a huge Michael Myers fan. I will look him up. Thank you. I have not seen him. I don't watch a lot of YouTube stuff. I'm usually on Facebook and in the group. If I'm online, I'm usually there. I stopped watching TV in 2004. See, there's a lot of people that have stopped watching TV. And so, I mean, that's going to be a factor when it comes to, what this cat is really, I'm thinking he's going to knock over my tripod again. She asked the question I want to ask. Sorry. Oh, okay. Speaking of stream services, American Gods on Showtime. American Gods is on Stars. And Haunting of Hill House on Netflix are great. American Gods is crossing the disturbing line, but I still want to watch it. American Gods is amazing. It is on Stars. I don't know if they've put it on any other kind of streaming platform, but you can get Stars to stream. and it gives it. They play so much content on there, and they have, you know, original series and things. It's amazing, absolutely amazing. Resident Evil needs to just stop with the reboots. I agree. I was very disappointed with Silent Hill 2. I agree. I love Silent Hill, the first one, but no. The second one, just, yeah, no. The TV cut of the original 78 Halloween was a lot more gory, I was told. I don't know. The original 78 Halloween, I actually saw in the drive-in movie theater when I was 5 with my parents. They took me to that movie thinking it was a Halloween movie, but not knowing that it was a horror movie. And then my mom tried to get me to go to sleep for the rest of the evening in the back seat, and of course I wouldn't, because I wanted to see the movie. But I have loved it ever since, and all horror ever since. I was always all about, you know, let's get scary movies. But because I was 5, I don't remember too much of it, like that original cut. If people think you are normal, tell them they are boring. Yeah. Paris Hilton also did well in House of Wax. I don't know why she gets so much hate. She did well. Her chase scene was well acted. George, I agree. I think the whole Paris Hilton hate thing it's fun to hate on her. Everybody likes, you know, there's always a few people, stars or whatever, that maybe don't deserve as much hate as they get, you know, maybe because she's famous for not doing a lot, but she has done some things since getting famous for not really doing anything but being rich. Yeah, I don't know. I think she did really well. I don't mind her. I don't mind her. I think a lot of the way she acts in public is kind of put on. Maybe it's not. I don't know. I don't know the woman, but you know, more power to her. I don't have any hate for her. I thought Paris did a better part than the young woman who played Shiloh did. I hate that it left everything up in the air with Repo, but there was rumors of a sequel was being worked on. Who knows, though? I'm still a huge Sweeney Todd fan when it comes to musical horror movies. I love Sweeney Todd, too. I think that was really well done. I'm a Tim Burton fan as well. And, you know, I like all of the Tim Burton musical, you know, I mean, Nightmare Before Christmas is a musical, and I love that. So, I mean, it's a cartoon as well, but I mean, it's also a musical. But, yeah. Jason Voorhees got to cornball for you. Yeah, he can. As far as the Friday the 13th movies, the first 4 are my favorite. It's hard for me to say. I mean, probably the very first 2 are my very favorite, and then 3 and 4. But after that, they get cornball. They do. Some of them. I'll still watch them. But yeah, I agree. They can. Let's see here. I meant, if you Abby normal, tell people you are boring. Yeah. I love Young Frankenstein. I think the future of TV is going to be limited to news, sports, and infomercials. I wouldn't doubt it. Why did I say Showtime? Yeah, it's okay. I have a Fire Stick, so I get it. I have a Fire Stick too. I also have HBO, Showtime, Cinemax, and Stars on my DirecTV, and I have their streaming sites plugged into my Fire Stick so that I can watch anything that they're playing whenever. But yeah, I just wanted to make sure that it is on Stars if people were looking for it. I love Silent Hill 1, but I even loved the game, but 2 was underwhelming. You were 5 years old too when you saw Halloween? Nice, nice. So you're probably about the same age as me. Maybe. If you saw it, well, maybe you're not, because you could have seen that movie whenever, being 5. I saw it in the drive-in when I was 5, so I was 70. In 1978, I was 5. But yeah, Halloween's a great one, I think. You know, it maybe isn't the best for every 5-year-old to see, but I thought it was great. Cool shirt, Erica. Thank you. I got this for Christmas. You were 4, and very nice. It's okay about not pronouncing your name correct. I know you meant me. It's enough. It's enough. I love also to be weird. They could also end it with both Michael Myers and Jamie Lee Curtis dying. Yes, that's true. That's true. Fighting each other. I love animal movies like The Pack, Backcountry, Into the Maze of Grizzly Maze, Ghost of the Darkness, The Gray, because they look so realistic. Have you seen these movies, and what do you think about them? Yes, I have seen. I've seen a lot of those movies. I own Ghost in the Darkness. I'm a huge Val Kilmer fan, though. I don't think I've seen Grizzly Maze. I have seen Backcountry and The Pack. I really love these. I love animal movies like that. You know, The Gray was really, really great. I just watched The Gray just recently, and those animals just were amazing. I loved them. Yeah, I love all those kind of movies. Absolutely. It's kind of good to see the animals winning. You know what I mean? Because, I mean, in so many things, you know, the animals lose. And I like to see them kicking the people's asses. A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night sounds really good. I picked up this pretty cool edition of it. I've not seen that. I love Tim Burton too. I swear we must have been sisters in a past life or something. We might have been. We might have been. You know, I just like whimsical stuff. I mean, I love my horror, but I love my whimsical. I love my fantasy. You know, like I love Dark Crystal and The Labyrinth and Legend and all of these kind of fantasy horror-esque movies, but they're kind of like children movies too. To me, in my head, you know, maybe they scare children, but in my head, they're kind of children movies. But yeah, no, I love so many different genres and sub-genres. It's crazy. Friday the 13th, 1 and 2 and 6 are your favorites. Yeah, you know, I mean, I'm a hard sell on the first 4 are just solid. But, you know, I mean, I pick and choose some of the others. Like, oh yeah, that one's pretty good. Oh, I like that one, all right. But the first 4 are my very favorite. Nice job, Erica. Gotta run. I'll be chatting with you soon. See you later, Dino. I'm about to wrap it up too. I love you, and you make my friends suck. Oh, Hal. I love you too. I'm sorry. You know, I made this group because I didn't have a whole lot of friends that liked horror, and so now I have a whole lot of friends that like horror, and just thank you all for being my friends that love horror and sharing that with me. Erica, we're both 25. I'm 1 year younger than you. I'm 45, actually, but you're 1 year younger than me. Wonderful. Enjoy it. You'll catch up with me soon. No, just kidding. Yeah, you know, I don't really have a problem with how old I am. It doesn't really bother me that I'm getting older. You're so busy at work, but hey, I can still watch your feed when customers aren't bothering you. Love it. Oh, thank you, George. I know you're probably working. The airport is probably super busy right now, isn't it? It is Friday. People are going up. Can you say that Hal is jalapeno? Hal is jalapeno. You like that? Did I say it right? Val Kilmer. I love Val Kilmer. Val Kilmer is just amazing. And you know, I really like. You know, what was that new movie he was in where he looked kind of creepy and bad, but then he ended up being like a good guy. The Super. I think it was The Super. I really enjoyed seeing him make a comeback because, you know, I think he'd been sick, and so I mean that obviously means his health is getting better, and I like hearing that. The Labyrinth and Legend are both all-time favorites, right along with Dark Crystal. I grew up in the 80s and was a teen, young adult in the 90s. Yeah, I mean, I was born in 73, and all of those movies are my childhood, and I love them so much. This little kitty is definitely wanting to get into stuff. He's gonna knock my tripod over. You're welcome, George. Thank you. Horror and fantasy will always be your two favorite genres of movies and books. Erica, we're 25. Oh, okay. Are we 25? I'll take that. Okay, Nikki, I'll take that. Gosh, I wouldn't want to live through that year again, but I'll take that. Yeah, no, fantasy. I love fantasy. Dragons and all kinds of make believe. I just love all that stuff so much. A girl walks home alone at night, skateboarding, vampire in an Iranian city. Yeah, no, I've not seen that. Thank you for the jalapeno. No problem, Hal. No problem. All right, guys. I think, we've been on here quite a while. Do we have any suggestions for the next topic we do? I know that I'm supposed to be in contact with some horror ladies, and I was gonna maybe ask them to be guests on the show and maybe pick their brain about what they're doing in horror, and might be fun for that. But you know, are there any topics that you guys maybe want to throw my way? You're welcome, Nikki. Game of Thrones. I love Game of Thrones, Brian. And I would love more fantasy movies. They don't have near enough. I was watching Seventh Son the other day, and I just love that movie. And it's very fantasy. Yes, do the Ladies of Horror. Well, you know, I was put in contact with some. I haven't spoken to them yet because I had the flu and I had to kind of sleep it off for a few days. But I want to do what happened to the Scream Queen topic. Well, we did the Scream Queen topic yesterday, Brian, and I started talking about Scream Queens today, and then we ended up just kind of having an open topic. So, you know, if you think of Scream Kings, men in horror over the years. Ooh, George, I like that. I like that. That'll definitely probably be a two-parter. I mean, the women in horror was a two-parter. It would be cool if you could get some fellas of horror who might give some free time to you and us. I would love that. I would love that. I'm still going to try to get some of the horror ladies that I was put in contact with. I'm going to see what their schedules are and maybe have separate shows just with them, just talking with them about whatever that they're doing in horror and, you know, kind of bringing them to the forefront of whatever. But, you know, I like doing stuff like that. So, I'm going to still try to do that. And let's do Men of Horror. I like that. Hal loves you. Thank you, Hal. Love you back. Art the Clown. Yes. Yes. We will definitely be talking. We'll be talking to Art the Clown because he's definitely a man of horror. So, thank you all so much. Mwah. Very wonderful talking to you all. Thank you all for joining in the fun and making it so that I didn't have a bunch of dead time. Thank you guys. Mwah. See you later.